Check. Lions on the prowl. Lions on the prowl. Always putting weight. Always going wild. Lions on the prowl. Lions on the prowl. Always putting weight. Always going wild. Best quarterbacks you ever heard. Get up, Matthew Stafford. Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. They gon' get it in the zone. No matter how they try to fan. Darius Slay gon' get it in. That Patricia ball grand. Making sure our players win. Got a dangerous offensive. They always bring the pain. Talking about that Ricky Wagner. Can't forget but TJ Lane. Detroit Lions got it locked. Tim and Jim gon' let you know. This the Lions on the prowl. Come on, time to start the show.
Hello, everybody. This is Jim.
And back again, Maniac Tim.
And we're ready for episode number 16, so let's get it started.
All right, yeah.
Our show this week is brought to you by West Michigan Nutrition. They're located at 1705 Beacon Boulevard down in Grand Haven, Michigan. Come and visit them often if you can. Do you have any shout-outs this week, Tim?
Well, Tim Reardon, he's listener at work, and also Colt, Brian, my wife Sherry, and Josue.
And mine are to my wife Val because she's going through surgery tomorrow. We're recording this on Sunday, so July 2nd. She's got to go in for gallbladder surgery, so she's been suffering this whole time and helping us out, so we give a shout out to her. Shout out to Andy and his father, David Fizzackerly. Dave was on our show last week and was a wonderful person to be around and was a great Lions fan. I really appreciated that and loved the conversation. So I wanted to give a shout out to him. And I want to give a shout out to Kevin Frentner. He was on episode number 6 or 7, and I can't recall, but we've been seeing if we can get him to help us with the Fantasy League stuff. We're going to be bringing you fantasy football this year at some point. We just have to work out some of the details, and so, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right. But we're going to go on to our Legend of the Week. This week, Tim, well, who is our Legend of the Week this week?
Night Train Lane.
Night Train Lane. Played 14 years as a defensive back for the Los Angeles Rams. Chicago Cardinals, which in that day it was the Chicago Cardinals, not the Bears, and Detroit Lions from 60 to 65. So 5 years with the Lions.
Yeah, but then I think they moved to St. Louis.
Yes,
yeah.
I think so.
Right.
I don't know if that happened or but I know Chicago became the Bears, obviously.
Right. But did they have like the two teams? I mean, it could have been where one was AFC team and one was,
If you know this information and you're a lot older than we are, which is really hard to do, just let us know. You can let us know on Twitter. LOTP is our Twitter handle, 14, I think. And then Gmail, you can Lions on the Prowl 14 at gmail.com. You can leave us a comment in the Facebook group or leave us a post in the Facebook group that we can comment on, and we'd love to hear from you. So he played in 7 Pro Bowls. Yep. As a rookie, he had 14 interceptions. That remains an NFL record more than 60 years later.
Right.
Selected as a first-team All-NFL player 7 times between 1956 and 1963. He has 68 career interceptions, ranked second in NFL history at the time of his retirement, and still ranks 4th in NFL history.
Oh, wow. That's great.
That's amazing, isn't it? Holy cow.
Yep.
1,207 interception return yards and 5 touchdowns on interceptions. He's inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1974. Wow. He's also named to the NFL's All-American All-Pro team in 1969 and its 75th anniversary all-time team in 1994.
Wow.
In 1999, he was ranked number 20 on the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest football players, making him the highest-ranked defensive back. The Cardinals' highest-ranking player and the Lions' second highest-ranking player after Barry Sanders.
Wow, that's cool. So, this is some legend we got this week.
This week we have a lot on this legend because he did a lot. So,
and he also caused a few route changes too.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. After retiring from professional football, Lane worked for the Detroit Lions in various administrative positions from 1966 to 1972, and it says a lot about Detroit.
Right.
A lot of the people that work, especially in the Red Wings organization, stay in the organization and assume different positions and stuff like that. Some of the Lions players have done that as well.
Yeah. And of course, one of the, like Barry Sanders done that after a while. He came back and worked.
He's actually came back recently to work on with Kerryon Bird of Prey Johnson. That, for those who don't know, a Kerryon bird is a scavenger bird that eats some of the carcasses on the road and stuff
Right.
like that. But that's not
But
important.
he's learning from the best too. Getting
he is learning
pointers.
from the best. Yes.
So and it just proves that the Lions are doing things to really make him a success too.
That's true.
And bringing a guy like Barry, that really was the heart and soul of Detroit for so many years.
I know. I'm just hoping you don't get frustrated and leave again. Just kidding.
That's true.
I'm kidding. Come on.
Yeah.
Now. August 22nd, 1960, the Cardinals traded Lane to the Detroit Lions in exchange for lineman Gary Perry. Perry. Okay.
Who's that?
Don't know. Lions great Joe Schmidt later called it one of the greatest trades that will ever be made in any sport.
Wow.
In the Lions' first win of the 1960 season, a 30-17 victory over the Baltimore Colts, Lane intercepted Johnny Unitas' pass and returned it for an 80-yard touchdown, quickly becoming a fan favorite in Detroit.
Yeah, and back then, Johnny Unitas was considered like a Brett Favre would be, that good.
Or
that then.
maybe
back then.
Let's see, modern day. Maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because Brett Favre's getting a little old there, Tim.
That's true.
Dating yourself a little bit there.
Yeah. But you were around when Brett Favre was there, too.
Oh, just at the tail end.
No,
I'm just kidding. I was there when he was drafted as Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I remember that. I called him Brett Favre.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, sorry about that. We're getting off track a little bit. In his sixth season with the Lions, he appeared in 66 games with 21 interceptions for 272 yards.
Wow.
Lane appeared in 1962 Pro Bowl despite suffering from appendicitis.
Man, that's something.
Nowadays, people won't go to the Pro Bowl because, of little injuries here or there. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
He weakened in pain. He blocked an extra point kick and accepted a Y.A. Tittle pass and returned it for 42 yards for the West All-Stars. Which is interesting to me because nowadays they don't want to go to the All-Star game.
That's true.
A lot of players will opt out, and you'll get second and third people that are chosen instead because and I think sometimes the voting goes the way it does. Because they know that player's not going to show up, and they know the next guy in line will get the honor anyway.
Yeah, and
so maybe.
And now it's held before the Super Bowl, right? I think it used to be held after, but I think they hold it like the
maybe
week
it was
before.
back then. I don't know, but if it was, that's kind of stupid. Depending on if those people are still in or out. Yeah, I don't know. Lane was a ferocious tackler.
Yeah,
it's one of the things about him, and his style of play led to rule changes as you were mentioning.
Yep.
1961, he tackled John Arnett by the face mask, running full speed down the field. Arnett lay motionless on the field after the tackle, and the play left a lasting impression.
Right.
The following year, the NFL adopted a rule prohibiting grasping the opponent's face mask, which is now a 15-yard penalty.
Yep.
Is it 15 yards only, or do they still have the 5?
No, I think it's just total 15 because they just did away with the incidental
one.
And,
okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought too, but I wasn't exactly sure.
So it's all the same now.
So Lane's practice of tackling opponents around the head and neck, which was a legal technique, was sometimes called a night train necktie.
Right.
Later, it became known as a clothesline tackle and was prohibited. But it was funny. What's funny is we talk about Night Train Lane and the Night Train necktie, which clotheslines people on their head, is basically what this was. Huh. If anybody has seen WWE wrestling, you'll know what a clothesline is, where they take the arm and they hit them in the neck and they knock them down.
Right. But of course, this was for real.
This was for real.
Mean, the impact was there, and that's why when we say that back then. This is known as being a man's game, a tough game.
It was.
Yeah, but even Lane was too tough for it back then because they had to change the rules.
Yeah, they had to change the rules for a defensive back. Yeah. Think about that.
Right.
I mean, think about, now we have linebackers and defensive linemen that are fearsome, but this guy was a defensive back. He was killing people like this. Yep. That's a big defensive back.
And he probably got a real surge of adrenaline when he went ahead and done that, you know.
Yeah.
And I really think that's what the Lions need, not particularly that, but that surge that's going to go ahead and just really take them to the next level.
Right. I want to say this about Night Train Lane because I want people out there. We do this podcast. Yeah. We do it every week. Mm-hmm. We're trying to build something here.
Yeah.
We're trying to build something, and for the Lions and for us and for this group, and we're trying to grow this brand.
Right.
And I want to say we had 23,000 listeners last month download this show. We really appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
But
Thank
this
you.
story by Night Train Lane, I want everybody to hear.
Yep.
Because it's important to everybody. We don't usually share everyday life stuff.
Right.
But this week it's going to change just a little bit.
Yep.
When Night Train Lane was 3 months old, he was abandoned by his parents,
Yep.
a prostitute and a pimp. He was found covered in newspapers in a dumpster. This is Night Train Lane.
Yeah.
One of the legends in football.
Right.
With all the records that we have been talking about and all the rule changes and the things that he has done on the field, he was found in a dumpster.
Right.
Okay?
Basically thrown away.
Thrown away.
And
thrown away.
Made something
of himself.
And
my father was called Texas Slim, Night Train says. I never saw him. I don't know if he's the one that told my mother to throw me away. A pimp told my mother I had to go. They put me in the trash can and took off. Some people heard me crying and thought it was a cat.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's how he got rescued.
Yep.
And if you've been through a lot of things, or you believe that you can't make it, just look at this lion legend and get up and try to live your dream.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Right.
We're living our dream every week. We sit down and get to talk about our favorite team.
Yep.
We get to talk about stats and what might happen and what might not happen. Talk about
and what we hope will happen. Yeah, and
yeah, we like the Lions, and they've never won a Super Bowl, and yeah, maybe that's a bad thing. Okay, whatever.
But they have won championships.
But to go through this,
I know. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I know.
Now, Tim, Night Train Lane, how did he get his name? Lane acquired the nickname Night Train, right? During his first NFL training camp with the Rams. Teammate Tom Fears had a record player in his room and frequently played the record Night Train by Jimmy Forrest. According to the account published by the Los Angeles Times in 1952, in August of 1952, whenever Fears plays it, Lane can be found in the hall outside Tom's room dancing to the music. Lane was initially uncomfortable with the racial implications of the nickname, which had been bestowed on him by his white teammates. But he embraced it after a newspaper reported on his performance against the Washington Redskins star Choo Choo Justice, with the headline, Night Train Derails the Choo-Choo.
Oh, wow, cool.
And it's. I don't want to go off too much about Night Train, but there's just there's a lesson in here. And it's never think that wherever you come from is where you are meant to be.
Right. Yeah, you can do things to make changes.
Right.
And don't give up on your dreams.
Exactly. Exactly. Don't be who everyone says you are. Be who you are.
Right.
And that's something that I think in some way Matthew Stafford comes to mind for me, because of course I watched that video again today. I posted it in the Lions on the Prowl group about him getting hit on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, that's a timeout. I can come back in and play, coach. I got to throw a football," and he throws a touchdown pass and says his shoulder's out of place. I mean, that's the type of a person that has heart. That never quits. And so that's what we like about Matthew Stafford, Night Train Lane, a lot of the legends. We tease about some things, but we're very serious about our Lions and being fans.
Yeah. But, just think, this guy, Night Train Lane, went from being thrown away in a dumpster to being on 2 different NFL franchises. Being considered the best trade of the time for the Lions, and also being a Hall of Famer. And going on and really being part of the winning Lions back then.
7 Pro Bowls.
And intercepting Johnny Unitas.
Johnny Unitas, because Johnny Unitas was like the best quarterback ever at that point in time, and all these things that he accomplished. And,
the Baltimore Colts, they won Super Bowls back then, too. That's...
And I think about this. He still ranks 4th in NFL histories with 68 career interception.
Wow. That's just awesome.
If you can do that, too. And I don't mean you can go and make interception. I mean, if that's what you want to do. I'm just saying whatever you want to do, don't give up on your dreams. And I hope that everybody out there gets to hear that
Right.
and take that to heart and go and do what they need to do.
Yep,
for
and
their
your
life.
dream might be video gaming.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
whoever thought, and not to get off topic, but, whoever thought that there would be video game leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Where
and
people
YouTube,
getting
that makes
paid
it
for
so popular.
Yeah.
On Twitch and stuff like
Yeah.
that they're just absolutely popular right now. And even for podcasting
Right.
like us, you can make a decent living doing what we do. And that's our dream. Our dream
Right.
is to make a decent living doing what we do and love to do. And it can be anybody's dream.
Yeah.
If you are interested in starting a podcast or learning about how to do that, we are going to come out with something. It's not going to be right away, but it will be later. And we'll have something available for you. Just message me or Tim in the Facebook groups, or if you can get a hold of us.
And if you want to help out with Lions on the Prowl too, if you're good at posting articles and stuff and know some things that we may not know.
Oh yeah,
let
definitely.
us know, and we can maybe try to work with you. And we're also looking for people to help grow our brand too.
Yep, we're
we're
looking to add team members and stuff like that right now. We're looking to add writers. We're looking to add people that will contribute to the show and things like that, and do things that we don't know. We're fans.
Right.
We're fans. We're fans just like you are. We're not experts, but we try to study and do the best we can.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we're 100% infallible or anything like that. And we don't try to be. We don't mention that we're experts. This is from the perspective of fans.
Right.
And we wanted the fans to have a voice. And we come with that the best knowledge that we can do, and sometimes not always 100%. But we give our all.
Right. And remember, this week put in for your the fan of the month for July, because next week we'll be choosing
the fan of the month.
Yeah.
This month's fan of the month was Ray Moore.
Right. And June fan of the month, Maniac fan of the month, of course, and he did it by posting on our website and stuff like that, and being an avid fan.
Okay, so the next topic we're going to talk about is Detroit Lions wide receivers. And there was something that came out by Pro Football Focus who has something to do with the show, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But career missed tackles forced the wide receiver class of 2010. So if you don't know who these players are, this is the class of 2010 wide receivers. Antonio Brown, Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Victor Cruz, Brandon LaFell, Mike Williams, Eric Decker, and Andre Roberts.
Wow.
And Golden Tate.
Yep.
Golden Tate, career missed tackles forced. So what that means is he makes people miss.
Yeah.
Okay. 171. The second place is 106.
Wow.
Antonio Brown. Third place, 95.
Yep. So it's basically he's that much better than the second place person.
Well, and the last place person has 19.
Right. So
and he has 171.
His escapability is just awesome. He makes people miss, and that's one of the reasons Lions got him.
Yards after the catch. Yeah. I'm going to say this on this show. I believe he does deserve the extension. I know there's been a lot of people who are like, Galladay is good and all this other stuff, and he could take his place. Galladay is not a slot receiver. Right. Tate brings another element to this team that teams have to cover, and he brings another element to this team where he scores touchdowns, he makes people miss, he gets first downs. I like Golden Tate. I think we need to keep him and wrap him up.
Oh, I'm not going to argue with you there. I mean, that stat proves it.
I agree with that.
I mean, and
he had 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah,
heck of a player.
You can't get rid of a guy like that.
And then other thing is, big plays abound by Detroit wide receivers. Number 1 in the NFL, but not top 5.
Right. So,
this is by our Pro Football Focus Elite membership. You can get a Pro Football Elite membership by going to www.lionsontheprowl.com. It's on the right-hand side. We do get a commission for every sale, and that will help the show to go to video and to get things that we need for our show. So, impact plays. So this is a 27 impact plays by the Lions. Last year, the catch rate was 44.3%, number 1 in the league.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So second was the Texans, third was the Seahawks, and fourth was Pittsburgh.
So how were we not in the top 5?
I still don't understand that.
It's just
now to me, okay, here's the whole offense to me. All right. We have our wide receivers pretty well set.
Mm-hmm.
When they re-signed T.J. Jones, which I believe was a good re-signing.
Oh, yeah, me too.
They also have Marvin Jones, number 11. He goes up to the point of the ball like no one I've seen since Calvin Johnson. Galladay's almost the same as him to me.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big receiver, and he's going against number 3 corners. He's going to have an outstanding year if he doesn't get hurt. So the wide receiving core, and you throw in Theo Riddick because he's a pass-catching running back. Amir Abdullah can do that too.
Yep.
They're working with Kerryon, Bird of Prey Johnson, my wayward son Johnson.
You and your nickname.
Kerryon, quote the Raven, Nevermore Johnson. He's supposed to be doing that too.
Right.
So it's running back by committee, supposedly.
Unless somebody really breaks out.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody just takes the job, then let's give them the job. I mean, that to me is okay.
Right.
But with the wide receivers, the offensive line being revamped the way it has been, the much more athleticism on the offensive line. We've talked about that before. We're really going to focus in on the running game this week. So we talked about wide receivers. We've talked a little bit about offensive line and what we think of by position, what's going on. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Lions running game this week. So LeGarrette Blount chosen as the player who will disappoint by Bleacher Report by the Lions. And what the premise of this article was that they think that LeGarrette Blount is going to be the guy that disappoints Lions fans, that he's not going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I don't know that we all think that he needs to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I
agree. You know, it's like the Lions brought him in for certain situations to give us a spark when we need him, complete those tough yards.
Exactly. And I think to be a mentor to Kerryon the Raven Johnson.
Yep. And whoever else is on that, our other running backs too, to mentor and to bring some excitement to the game, to
exactly
the pride.
Exactly. But I don't think he's going to be the number one running back. I mean, I think you could be a great number 2 running back, number 3 running back. I don't care. I mean, if it's a rotation, then he's going to be in at some points, and other guys are going to be in at some points, and you have a fresh back all the time, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
I don't like wearing down a running back because you really don't get the performance that you need out of them.
Yep.
So I wanted to go into a little bit about Kerryon Johnson now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know I give him crap. Kerryon Scavenger Johnson.
Yeah.
But here's why. Since Barry Sanders retired, Detroit has had 17 running backs. 17 running backs. Okay? Drafted 17 running backs. I'm sorry. The choices include R2 Spinner, Kevin Jones, Javid Best, Amir Abdullah, Mikel LaSure, and all of these players we thought were going to be something.
Right. And Javid Best really was until he got hurt.
Yeah, Javid Best I think was the best out of all of them. That's my opinion. And Amir, I don't know. I still think he's scared.
Right.
I know that sounds crazy and people might disagree with me, but when you watch film, he runs out of bounds way too much. Yeah. And I'm not going to say he's afraid, but maybe deep in his mind, he doesn't want to get hurt again. He wants to be on the field. He wants to be available. So if he takes the route out of bounds, he doesn't get hurt as much.
Right.
Maybe that's a design play. But when I see him able to cut it up the middle
that's when
and get extra yards, if he follows where the hole is, if that's not the case, he has horrible vision.
Right.
And I hope that's not the case. But he has terrible vision if that's the case.
Right. Maybe he needs some new contacts.
Vision, not like that.
No, I know.
To see the open holes and the blocks and all that stuff and what's going on the field. So, Kerryon Johnson, he was the SEC offensive player of the year.
Yep.
Who was the last person that we drafted, running back, that was the SEC offensive player of the year? Should be a poll question. It really should be. But we're going to tell you who that was.
Okay.
R2 Spinner.
Yep.
I'm sure you remember that great running back that should be in the Hall. Oh, wait. No, he sucked. But see, that's the thing. I'm not, and I'm not even saying that he's going to be a terrible running back. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think he's going to be what everyone else thinks he's going to be. I think he's going to play a part like LeGarrette Blount, like Amir Abdullah, like Theo Riddick. I think he's going to play a part in the offense. I don't think he's going to be the main guy. And I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. But maybe he's going to develop into the main guy. Time will tell.
Let's just, okay, maybe I'm not the expert.
Right.
The expert should be the Lions running back coach.
Right.
Would you think that, possibly?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Unless you've got one of the dynamic running backs in the league, most teams are going to use, let's call it a platoon system, where they have 2 guys, sometimes 3 guys who carry the load. Lions running back coach David Walker told MLive.com, "We will be one of those teams that have guys in certain roles. Hopefully it's not so finite that the defense knows exactly what those roles are and can prepare for him."
Right.
What does that tell you?
Basically what you were saying. That he is going to go ahead and he's just a part of the answer. One running back in a system of running backs.
But that tells you that they don't even think that he's one of the dynamic running backs in the league.
Right.
Because that's what he says. Unless you've got one of the dynamic running backs in the league, most teams are using the platoon system.
Yep.
Okay. And what did he say about Kerryon Johnson? He's a guy that's a 3-down player. He shows that he can play on first, second, and third down. Showed he can play in all situations, which was important for us. He's very productive in a very good league. And you see the physical qualities, the flexibility in the terms of how you can use a guy like that.
Right.
And then you have the chance to meet him, see how smart and driven he is. He's the kind of player that fits with our program because he's smart. He's shown he's productive. Then he has flexibility in terms of first, second, and third downs. And they're saying he's available.
Right.
But are they going to use him?
I think they're going to use him, but not every down. Unless he can go ahead and really step up and just show that he's better than everybody else.
Right. Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick, and LeGarrette Blount have been the guys taking first-team reps.
Right.
So if there is a pecking order, because Matt Patricia said, hey, don't read too much into where they're playing right now.
Right.
He told us.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody's kind of jumping to conclusions, but Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick, and LeGarrette Blount. It doesn't say Kerryon Johnson.
No.
And like I said, guys, this is not an indictment on Kerryon Johnson. It's not. It's lower your expectations. Don't think this guy's going to come in and just be all world, because, I hear that from a lot of Lions.
Right.
Oh, he's going to be this and that. I don't think so. And I'm not the expert or whatever, but you've heard what I said.
Yeah.
We'll see if I'm wrong.
We'll see.
When the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Preseason, you can't judge anything.
No.
They're vanilla defenses. They're not. He goes off for 100 yards a game. I'm not going to worry about that.
And really, as far as for a good franchise, preseason doesn't matter.
Well, it matters to round out your roster.
Oh, yeah. But, as far as if you win or lose, that really doesn't matter in preseason.
Matter. To me, it doesn't matter. Unless you're trying to build a winning culture in your team, and you always want to win no matter what the situation is, and you're trying to instill that, maybe that does matter. Right. But I agree with what you're saying to most teams that have been there, done that doesn't matter much. Right. We're going to switch a little bit now. We've been talking about the running game and the running backs. Oh, one more thing. Nick Ballore, he's going to be the fullback. Was a linebacker. And I think he adds something to this offense, and I like him and LeGarrette Blount together.
Oh, yeah.
I think
that's going to be a good
failed a lot on
punch.
third down and ones.
Yeah.
Fourth down and ones really hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
Third down and 2, third down and 3.
Right.
Can we just line up and tell the other team, we're going to cram it down your throat that you ain't going to be able to do anything about it?
And I think that's why they got Blount, too.
Yeah, I do, too.
Yeah.
I do, too. And that they are installing the fullback again this year. I do like the idea, and I like the fullback out of the backfield as a pass catcher in the end zone.
Yeah.
Used that a few times when we used to have the fullback, and I think it adds a weapon to us.
And, of course, Blount is really a good blocker, too.
Agreed.
That was one of the reasons they got him, too,
Yep. He would be good on third downs.
Yep. And he brings
either situation.
He brings an element that the Lions didn't have.
True. So let's move on. We're going to move on to the defense a little bit. Coming out this week, we have 3 weeks to make a decision on Ziggy Johnson. To sign Ziggy Johnson long-term or not to sign him? That is the question.
I hope they sign him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like him when he's healthy and he's on.
Right.
He's probably one of the best pass rushers in the league. But as I've said before on this show, we're not using pass rushers like that anymore.
True.
So maybe he fits. Maybe he doesn't. I don't think they're going to sign him long term.
Okay.
I think they're going to use him on the 1 year and make a decision in the offseason on it.
Right.
Let him be a free agent, see what he gets. I do believe that. I don't believe we're going to re-sign him in 3 weeks.
Okay.
I don't. But having said that, you have to take into consideration the cap space for this year.
Right.
If we have a free agent out there that we really wanted to get, like a defensive tackle,
right,
that everybody wants. Anyway, that
True.
would we have the cap space to get that? And signing Ziggy, because right now he's got $17.1 million for this year on this cap. So if we were to extend him maybe 2 to 3 years, I would only go 3 years on him. But if you did that, you might be able to cut that number down a little bit, add cap space, put some in the signing bonus, and then for this year have the cap number go down to sign a player or two that might put us over the top for the playoffs this year if we think we're that close.
Right.
So cap space could be an issue where we would re-sign him, but I don't think so because of the injuries and the declining play, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, he got good sack numbers when he was healthy. He got 3 per game, that I think 2 games in a row or something. But it's just not consistent enough. He's not on the field enough for me.
Yeah.
He would have to show this year that he could stay on the field.
Yeah. And, of course, that's why they franchise tagged him,
But he already signed it, so he's going to show up. He's going to be there.
Yep.
So that's what it is for me. Okay. So we had a thing last week about the disrespect of the Detroit Lions, and it got a little better this week.
Yep.
Not much, but a little. We were talking about Matt Patricia and how he ranked as NFL coaches rank. He ranked 32nd. Below Hugh Jackson, who was 0-16.
Yeah,
and we said
that's
it's not even
right.
That is not even right. So that's what they said too. As a writer says, "Oh no, Patricia deserves credit for the way the Patriots defense responded in a rocky start in 2017, after allowing a whopping 128 points to the first 4 weeks of the season. New England hunkered down, giving up just 168 points over the last 12 games of the regular season. What an improvement." The Patriots finished first in scoring defense in 2016, an integral factor in the franchise's 5th Lombardi Trophy lift. Patricia's defenses finished in the top 10 points allowed during each of his 6 seasons in New England as the defensive coordinator. And name the impact players he had on defense. Not many. I mean, Kyle Van Noy was one of the stars of his team, so come on now.
It just proves that he can, his type can make something,
can take crap and turn it to gold. Pretty much. So Patricia will have an impact player at most important position in football this year, Matt Stafford, which is partially why he ranks higher than other rookie head coaches on the list. And yes, I'm projecting a bit. He rated him 24th overall, and I don't know if that's fair, but you've never seen him before, so I guess that's not a unfair thing. Who knows?
Right.
So I don't know, but I know the national media loves to hate the Lions.
That's true. They do.
So we're trying to show them a little more love on this show, because we don't think that they're as bad as the media makes them out to be. But there are some people that think they're going to the Super Bowl this year and all this other stuff, and I don't believe that either. But we're building something good here. I do believe that we're building something good, and I believe that we will have something good to come out of all this.
Yep. And, of course, we do have the second toughest schedule in the NFL this year.
Yeah,
too.
we do. We'll be going through that schedule pretty soon, too, and give you our predictions for the 2018 season. That'll be coming up probably right after the preseason. That way we get it. And we're also going to have an NFC North preview show with fans of each team.
Yep.
And that's also coming just before the season starts. Hopefully, because we do both work full-time, and, and it's
different
difficult.
shifts, too.
First and second shifts, so it's difficult for us to get together and do the show. So we want to bring you 2 shows a week. One pregame, one postgame. starting in the preseason, but we don't know if that's going to happen yet. We do want to do a little more live Facebook Live stuff during games, but like I said, we don't know if we can do that yet because of the scheduling.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to bring that to you, but just we don't know yet.
Right.
Another thing I wanted to get to a little bit this week, new offensive line, new running game, new defense, new coach. How does it translate to wins?
By executions. If they go,
are we killing the players?
No. No, executing the other teams that we're playing.
So we're killing the other team. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's fine. Okay, I didn't understand there for a second. I was a little worried. No, I'm just kidding. Execution, yeah. I mean, installing the new defense, installing the new, some of the offensive stuff is going to be the same because Jim got Bob Cooter still there.
Right.
Yes, I'm from Mayberry and I run your football team. His name drives me nuts. I don't know why. It just doesn't show respect. And I can't help it. I don't know if fans think that, but Jim Bob Cooter is a really weird name for an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Especially with a team with trying to get respect. I'm sorry. Love our team, but my goodness.
He's earned Matthew Stafford's respect because Matthew Stafford is the main reason he's still with the team.
And Matthew Stafford, under him, has done a lot better.
Right.
Just by the eye
Mr.
test for me.
Lombardi. Oh, gosh. That was a joke.
Planted by the Green Bay Packers to destroy our team. I'm just kidding. But, I love how Stafford has changed over the last few years, matured. He doesn't overthrow people as much as he used to. He used to throw the ball really high.
Right.
And that led to some interceptions. It also led to a lot of plays where the guy was wide open. He should have hit him, and he didn't.
Right.
It's a lot better. He just seems to be better mechanically and fundamentally.
Yeah, he's maturing. He's maturing, and it's showing his. It's showing his play, like you say. His throwing is a lot better, and a lot more accurate.
Scary to say that he keeps getting better, but he is.
Right.
And I know the argument about elite quarterback and whatever. I think that argument will go to bed as soon as we make the playoffs, win playoff games, and get to a Super Bowl. I think that argument will be over with then. I think that without that, he's going to have to beat out Dan Marino.
Yeah.
For numbers and all that other stuff to be considered an elite quarterback in the grand scheme of things.
I think you're right.
I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, and I'm hoping we get a Super Bowl win. Like everybody's hoping we get a Super Bowl win. And at least an appearance, that'd be nice.
Now, some of the numbers by the receivers might take a dive. Basically, if we have the running game that we're looking forward to having, I think that you're going to see runs. You're still going to see the receivers that's going to definitely be a major part of this.
It's going to be a hard offense to stop if we can run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we can run the ball, they don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, and also protect Stafford, give him time.
Give him time. That's crazy. Yeah, it's scary to think how good this offense could be because how good were they just having receivers and having him run for his life?
Right. What I'm expecting is for them to be the breakout team this year.
Right.
To go into the season being able to beat just about anybody there.
Right.
And really that's what they got to do with the schedule they got. If they want to make the playoffs, they're going to need to go in there every week, no matter if the team's not considered as good as you, up and ready to play, ready to give it to them. And after a loss, after win, play with intensity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want us to be a tough out.
Yeah.
I do. I want us to be a team that they don't circle on the schedule and say win.
Right.
Because they're still doing that.
I know.
I mean, according to ESPN, we don't win a game this year because every team has circled us as a win. Which I don't know how they're doing that when we won 9 games the past 2 years. But hey,
and also also beat up on our fellow NFC North opponents.
Right.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Green Bay when we play them this year. But I'm sorry, I would much rather have Stafford.
Me too.
He's a lot better with our receivers.
He's younger. Has a strong arm. He if he had the team around him, I think he'd be just as successful. Okay, that's going to kind of wrap it up for this week. I wanted to remind you that you can dominate your football league with all the fantasy stats, scouting analysis, roster tools, and rankings you'll ever need. Their Pro Football Focus membership, PFF Edge, includes access to all premium editorial content, fantasy rankings, and season-long fantasy tools. PFF player grades, data, NFL draft coverage throughout the year. Elite members get everything in Edge plus premium stats, a DFS optimizer, player grades by game, and player pre-snap position counts. Sign up for PFF Edge subscription for only $39.99 a year at $9.99 a month, or upgrade to the PFF Elite, which is $199 a year or $34.99 a month, to get even more. Go to Lions on the Prowl and click on the PFF banner on the right-hand side of the page to sign up, and we do get a commission for every time you do that, so that would help the show as well. If you're thinking about doing it anyway, then that would help our show tremendously.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you go to iTunes and hit the subscribe button for our show, that would help us out a great deal too. We're planning on bringing a lot more shows to you when we can do this full time.
True.
But it will take you guys to be subscribing and downloading and listening.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everybody's been doing that.
Yep, and we'll be, up more on a lot of the content when we can do this full time.
Exactly.
When we'll be doing a lot more research, a lot more every day stuff for you guys, for you fellow Lions fans.
Working on some premium content for you guys too, so we'll see how that works out. Also, there's a lot of things in the works if we can ever get to work on it, and that's the point right now. We're trying to get, so we're doing this full time so that we can bring you up to the minute coverage of anything that breaking news. We'll break in the Facebook groups or wherever and give you the lowdown as soon as we find out what it is. So there's a lot of things that we want to do with this, but right now we're just limited by, schedules and stuff like that and time.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody that's been listening to us. Remember to hit that subscribe button to help us with our affiliates. And so,
And once again, one pride. Lions.
One pride, Lions, Detroit versus everybody.
Yep.
You guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week with episode 17.
Yep.